Hello everybody, what is up? I said I'd be posting a video later today for all my Facebook friends. I know the quality still sucks ass. Anyways, this is going to be the first episode of Jesse's Collectible Showcase. And now what I'd like to be presenting are my 45s. I know this kind of sucks ass because the way that the camera is pointing is to where it has all the words and pictures mirrored and shit, which I think sucks. So, here goes nothing. Here we have a 45 of the Beatles, 8 days a week, and for the B-side is I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. Now this record right here actually plays pretty well, it plays perfectly. Well, most of my 45s do, except for one that I have, which I'm going to be showing off in a bit. This one is Creedence Clearwater Revival, looking out the back door, and for the B-side is As Long As I Can See the Light. Now this one I think is pretty cool because sometimes I'm just a lazy ass and I don't want to put in the 45 adapter, so it has one built in right here, which I think is kind of cool. Is Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. If you don't know who Peter Gabriel is, he was in a band called Genesis along with another Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Sting, not the wrestler, but the musician. This one is Strawberry Fields Forever with the B-side to Penny Lane by the Beatles. Even though it has a few scuffs and scratches, I hope you can see these very well. It plays perfectly. I haven't listened to it in a long time. I've just been too lazy. Another Beatles one. This one I actually got for free, which makes it even more cool to listen to, is Help from the soundtrack by the Beatles, with the B-side is I'm Down. I think it's a cover, but I'm not entirely sure. As you can see right on the label, it has, some damage right there. But I don't plan on selling it or anything. This one I got at a yard sale. It's the single for Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. Unfortunately, it has a small warp. I hope you can see it. And it also, yeah, here's the warp right there. And at the same time, it also skips and, after the first instrumental part where it's, yeah. This one's cool. When I got it, it came with this sleeve, which is hard to find for most records, especially if they're, singles that came out in the 50s or 60s. This one is Fame and Fortune with the B-side to Stuck on You by Elvis Presley. This one was one of the ones that was released in between the time that he was in the army to, just pass shit by, or around the time that he was released to get himself back on the spotlight. Now this one by the Eagles is Heartache Tonight, off the Hotel California, the Long Run album. I haven't listened to the B-side mainly because it has a few scratches right here. But it's another really good... The quality is kind of shitty for a single, but that's just probably the way they released it. This one is one of my more prized possessions because this is actually the first single I have, one I've ever got. I got it for $0.25, even though it's worth a lot more. It's an original 1956 single of Heartbreak Hotel by Elvis Presley with the B-side I Was the One, which is pretty damn hard to find if you ask me. This one right here is that one that I was talking about that does have some skipping in it, sadly, it is Atali Records. I've never heard of them, but this is the Beatles' very first single, Love Me Do, with the B-side to P.S. I Love You. Now this one is cool because it is one of my more favorite songs off the Appetite for Destruction album. This is It's So Easy by Guns N' Roses. With the B-side is Mr. Brownstone. I hope I said that right, Mr. Brownstone. And notice how instead of side B it says side AA. And it's kind of weird that for a Guns N' Roses record it says, warning, contains language which some people might find offensive. Usually if it was Guns N' Roses, they'd tell people to fuck off if they don't like what their music is. And apparently it's an import because it says made in England. It has a sticker right there. I'm not sure if it was put on there or an actual sticker for when they released it. And now here are some of the ones that don't have cases. This is a shortened version of Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple, which obviously has one of the more known guitar riffs of all time. If you haven't heard who Deep Purple is, you might hear the opening riff of Smoke on the Water. This one's another 1956 Elvis record single. It is Hound Dog, which is another one of his biggest hits, and the B-side is Don't Be Cruel. Both songs I like. And that one I actually got for 50 cents, the same place I got the Deep Purple record at. This one is the single for The Long Run by the Eagles. I've never listened to it. It looks a little fucked up if you asked me. Yeah, there's a warp right there. And the B-side is Disco Strangler. I've never listened to this side. Same with the B-side to Heartache Tonight. And this one is actually pretty cool. I normally don't like musical scores or anything, but it is one of my more favorite musical, movie theater type songs. And that is The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. A lot of people don't know this, but white labels are promotional copies that they hand out to radio stations back in the day. They're not meant to be sold, so the fact that I even got some like this is rare. This one is another one of my Beatles singles. Hey Jude, with the B-side is Revolution. And even though there's a few scuffs right there, it still plays perfectly on both sides. This one is Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, with the B-side is Ain't Gonna Move. This I got for 70 cents at a Value Village one day earlier this year. This one is House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. Sadly, it's shortened because it's a 45. Most 45s, if a song goes 5 minutes or more, it's shortened. And the B-side is I'm Crying, which is actually a pretty good song. This one is one of the more widely known Beatles songs of all time, I Am the Walrus. It plays perfectly. With the B-side is Hello Goodbye. And I have one more 45, but I forgot to bring it up. It is a mono version of the single for Born to Be Wild. It's shortened, but it's the only way you can actually hear it on mono channeling without it being, fake for the purpose of rechanneling the shit. Anyways, that'll do it. Hope you guys liked the video and subscribe to my channel.